Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. The big news for today is that the Ukraine-Russia war has completed one full year, a war that no one expected would go on for such a long time. If you remember, when this first started, Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, said it is a strategic military operation. Most of the experts and even Russia also thought that this would only last for maximum of 3 days and that Kiev would fall. Since then, an year has passed and we still see a lot of resistance from Ukraine. Now, on the occasion of 1 year completion of this war, Vladimir Putin, that is a Russian president, came out and delivered a long speech of close to 90 minutes where he justified his actions, primarily saying that it was Ukraine who had actually instigated Russia to start this war. It was Ukraine who was imposing atrocities on people of Russian origin in the Donetsk region, and that Russia is only defending itself. Also, the most important announcement from the speech of Vladimir Putin was that Russia has suspended the New START treaty. Now, what exactly is the New START treaty? How did it work? That is what we'll be discussing in this particular class of the big news. In simple terms, US and Russia for a long time have agreed to sign bilateral treaties to limit the number of nuclear stockpile that they have. So how many weapons of nuclear missiles can they actually have? Both the sides have signed treaties to limit that. The latest of those treaties was a New START treaty, and Russia has now said that we are no longer interested in this treaty. Now, this was not an unexpected announcement because the relationship, specifically the diplomatic relationship between the two sides, has completely broken down since the last 1 year, ever since the beginning of the Ukraine Russia war. So, no one is surprised. Even then, this is big news because when the two world superpowers, the ones that have the largest nuclear stockpile, one of them announces that we are no longer interested in limiting our weapons, that sends a very strong signal to other nations around the world. Now, the New START treaty, here START stands for Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty. The word new here suggests that there was earlier also a treaty called START, that was START 1. That treaty was signed in 1991 and came into being in 1994. Now, ever since the new treaties have been signed, with every new treaty, we see that more stringent targets are put in place. The first treaty of 1991, in that it was decided both the sides will have maximum nuclear warheads of 6,000 and maximum intercontinental ballistic missiles 1,600 and not more than that. That treaty ended in 2009. Then, the next treaty to come into being between the two nations was called SORT, S-O-R-T, known as Treaty of Moscow or Strategic Offensive Reductions Treaty. And then the next treaty in line was a New START. So this is the third of those treaties from where Russia has decided to backtrack. As per the official statement, the New START treaty between the United States of America and Russian Federation was on measures for further reduction and limitation of strategic offensive arms. Now, the two countries had decided that as per this treaty, they will put limit on their strategic offensive arms by 5th of February 2018, and the same status will then stay in force until the time that the treaty stays in force. However, the two sides, as you can now see, have not been able to continue this treaty till the end. The treaty was supposed to go on till 4th of February 2026, but as we see, Russia has already moved out of it. What exactly were the limits imposed? Let me tell you those. First limit, maximum of 700 deployed intercontinental ballistic missiles, deployed submarine launched ballistic missiles, and deployed heavy bomber equipped for nuclear armaments. When you say deployed, that means that they are ready to go. Then, maximum 1550 nuclear warheads on these deployed ICBMs, deployed SLBMs, SLBM again is submarine launched ballistic missiles, and deployed heavy bomber equipped for nuclear armaments. Maximum 800 deployed or non-deployed ICBM launchers, SLBM launchers, and heavy bombers equipped for nuclear armaments. Both the nations decided that the limits will be the same for both. It's not that US or USSR will have different limits. Now, many experts have pointed out that ever since the beginning of the START treaty, as you can see over here, there has been a considerable reduction in the nuclear stockpile of both the nations. As you can see here, this graph of Russia, which is the red line, and the graph of US, both of them have come down considerably. So, in some way, these treaties have been extremely successful because they have been able to bring together two world powers that have always had the maximum nuclear stockpile. So, it has made the world a much more peaceful and a much safer place. However, now that one of the two sides has broken out of the treaty, and more specifically that side which is right now engaged in a war, that now can be a dangerous signal. In fact, in the speech that Vladimir Putin gave, he did use the word nuclear multiple times to remind the world that their nuclear weapons are not just for show and they can be used to defend Russia. Now, how does a treaty ensure that both the sides comply with it? So, basically, as per the treaty, there can be 18 on site inspections per year. So, US team can go to Russia, inspect their nuclear arsenal, and Russian team can similarly come to US maximum 18 times per year. Type 1 inspections will be on the sites with deployed and non-deployed strategic systems, up to 10 per year. Type 2 will be on sites with only non-deployed strategic systems, so where they have not deployed, they are stored somewhere. However, ever since the treaty has come into the picture, we have not seen a lot of these compliances being taken into consideration. Meaning that most of the times Russia does not allow the US team to come there. A lot of times US also does the same. So there were talks that the treaty might not really go on for such a long time. The good part is, till the time that the treaty lasted, the treaty was able to ensure that both the sides remained within their limit. Be it the ICBMs that are deployed or non deployed, both the states accepted that. The problem with both the states now is that they are not ready for inspection. They are not ready for the other side to come in and see where they have stored their nuclear stockpile, which is obviously understandable. Now, if you look at how many nuclear stockpiles that nations around the world have, please do remember no nation officially will ever say how many nuclear stockpiles do we have. These are experts, think tanks around the world, journalists, investigators who give this number. So, for example, if this graph says India has 160 nuclear stockpile, that does not mean that the official number is given by the Indian government. India doesn't accept or reject this number in any way, and same is the case with all these countries. As you can see, there is such a huge difference between US and Russia and other countries if you compare their nuclear stockpile. Now, currently, the compliance situation, that is, the inspection to be taken up from both the sides, has not been that great. As I told you, the US has already said that Russia is not complying with it. The State Department of US had said in their parliament that Russia is not complying with the treaty and that it will jeopardize the relationship between the two. As you know, for any treaty to come into the picture in US, the Senate, that is their upper house, has to ratify that. That is why it is a very common thing that the US government, different departments of the US government give clarification of the progress of certain treaties in the parliament, and the same has happened here as well. This is everything that you needed to know about the new START treaty. I hope all of you read in detail about this treaty because this has been extremely important news and it is a part of international relations as well. And it comes under topic of nuclear non-proliferation. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day ahead. Jai Hind.